All right, we're live. It's Prop the Mic, PTM, coming to you with the simulcast on a cold but sunny day here in LA. I know it's cold, New York, sun. We can find out from Dave in a minute. As always, today's podcast is presented by Props.cash. We 100% could not do what we do without Props.cash. So if you think you're ready to level up your prop betting game, use code PTM at sign up to get 25% off your first month. How's things in New York, Dave?
Things are good. We were supposed to this weekend, and we did not get a lot of snow. So that was disappointing to the kids who thought they were going to have off from school today, but great for me because I didn't have to go out there and shovel.
Always good.
And the weather was crappy enough that I was able to stay inside and watch football all day yesterday. So that was also a win.
Lucky you. Very nice.
Lucky me. Speaking of which, excellent weekend. So we had our Friday pod with Lucas, and we did terrifically. We had over 70% hit rate on our picks on that pod. So definitely going to be having him back soon. And it's a little sad. NFL is coming to a close. We got the playoffs coming up, so we'll have a couple weeks of that. But at the same time, I'm excited because that'll really let us hyper focus on NBA.
Yes. Looking forward to it. And Lucas definitely earned himself a spot back here. That was an awesome showing.
Yes.
Great pod. So looking forward to what we have in store for week one of the NFL playoffs this weekend. So stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll have a pod on that on Friday. But in the meantime, we're going to cover have a couple NBA pods, and we'll have some content out on the Props.cash blog as well. So follow along for NBA stuff this week. Starting with right now, we're going to cover 5 of the 6 NBA games tonight. Obviously, focus is on the national championship game for college football, but we definitely have NBA action going on in parallel. So let's jump into it. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Let's start with the Boston Indy game, right? So these two teams played the other day. Indy's getting 4.5 points at home. Total is 244. Actually, I got to check if that line is still plus 4.5. But Tom and I were kind of discussing picks before the pod. Super excited about Jason Tatum in this game, and then we found out that he was out. So we scratched that one, but we quickly pivoted to find some other really good plays. You want to start with our first pick on the Celtics side?
Yeah, let's pull up. So if Tatum's not playing, your first thought is to go to Jaylen Brown here, obviously. And our first thought proved to be correct, because if we look at some splits, there you go, on Jaylen Brown without Tatum in the lineup, you could see that the rebounding and the assisting goes through the roof. So we like pairing these two up today. You can get this line at 10.5. Wouldn't be surprised if you see this start to creep up as the afternoon goes on. Because look at that, he's clearing by quite a wide margin there, averaging like almost 14 RA. Is that per game if you knock out that first one there against Washington? So this is a great spot. His points are probably also good. They were 24.5 or 23.5 before Tatum was announced out. They've gone up to 27.5. So that's probably also a good play. But if you just look at if you want to pull out his rebounds and assists independently there for a sec.
Yeah, rebounds without Tatum.
Without Tatum, yeah.
6 of 8. But
nice
when he
totals
is
there.
clearing, getting like 10 plus in most of those games. And then the assist was actually surprising. He's cleared this in less games. He's cleared this in 5 of his last 6 without Tatum, but he's getting that 5+ assist mark in most of those. So that's why we kind of liked, Tatum brings a lot to the table in terms of scoring, certainly a lot in rebounding, and has 4 or 5 assists a game. So there's a lot to go around here. So we think that doing the RA line is good. I think, Tom, you also were alluding to PRA is also pretty good as well.
Yeah.
38.5. Can you get it as low as 37.5 anywhere? Yeah. DraftKings, you can get it at 37.5. Cleared that in 8 straight games without Tatum. So I think either of those are good plays in this game. I do think Brown's going to shoot the ball a ton
Yeah.
without Tatum out there, right?
What was the spread? What was the spread prior to Tatum
What is
being
it?
out?
It was I listed Indy plus 4.5. Total was
It's
244.
3 now.
Yeah,
Now it's
so
247 and -3 for Boston.
well, that's interesting. The scoring went up without Tatum, and the spread didn't change too much. So that I would think Tatum would be worth 3 points alone right there, but
Hmm.
doesn't seem so. Okay. All right, very good. Anybody else on the Celtics side that we had?
We in the model, Drew Holiday rebounds was popping out. If we want to take a gander at that real quick.
Yeah. So rebounds. These are his last 10 games with rebounds. His rebound line. Let's see if we can get it for 5.5 anywhere still. No, looks like it's up to 6.5, but you're getting plus 114, plus 110. I don't know if I would play it as high as 6.5, but we do like it as a potential leg for a
Yeah.
builder. You could take it down to 6 is probably pretty good, especially with Tatum out of the game. You could take it down to, if you look at his away games this season, this is a leg that we played over the weekend.
Yeah.
If you take it down as
6.
low as 5, he's cleared in every game but the first game away game of the season. So I think Drew Holiday 5 rebounds is a home run. He's also got a pretty good track record against Indy, right? That's
Yeah.
most of those
Look at
games
that.
were on Milwaukee, but that's 6 straight games against Indy with 6+ assists. So I would play him probably at 5 or 6 in a builder. And
3 of those
maybe
games were this season, though.
Oh yeah, you're right. 3 of
Yeah.
those. So
Yeah.
7, 6, and 6, and Tatum played in all 3 of those. So straight line is probably good, but I think playing 5 or 6 rebounds, probably 6 rebounds, and pairing it with something else would be a good opportunity.
Let's see if we can
Um,
find something else to pair it with.
Yeah, so we did notice that Biggs rebounding against Boston is a pretty good opportunity. Let's just look at Miles Turner. Again, super consistent. He shows up on our alt props sheet over and over. So if you look at him versus Boston this season, 5, 10, and 7 rebounds. And if you look at him over this season in home games, let's filter him to home. He's had 6+ rebounds in 16 of 18 games. So I think, some combination of Turner 5, Holiday 6, or Holiday 5, Turner 6, or both of them at 6. I think that's a really nice parlay to put together. You could certainly get plus money odds on DraftKings right now.
Yeah, and you could also throw Jaylen Brown in there too. With him at 6.5, 7.5, whatever he's at. It looks like he's 5.5 everywhere except for FanDuel, right?
5, 5, and 5. 3 guys
Yeah,
getting 5 rebounds. That seems like a home run.
there you go.
So, all right. And then we also, the Indies changed their lineups recently, but they do kind of start 2 centers now, with Miles Turner as the true center, and then Jalen Smith as the power forward. But he really is very similar to a center in terms of the way he plays and how we have him classified on Cleaning the Glass. What do you like for Jalen Smith here?
So his rebounds as well was something we were looking at, like you alluded to earlier. Since December 1st, Boston has given up the 29th most rebounds per minute to opposing bigs, and you just saw that they played a few days ago. Obi Toppin, I think, had 10 rebounds. Miles Turner had 12 in that game. Jalen Smith was the one that was under. I think. What do you have in there? 7.
Yeah.
So he was the one that was popping out. I think maybe some of those rebounds that Toppin got maybe go to Jalen Smith in this matchup. Both filters, you were putting him at 21 minutes, which he should get now that he's starting.
Yeah, he's played 23+ minutes in each of the last 2 games. He is starting tonight. Yeah, we were looking at this earlier. He's 5 of 7 this season when clearing 6.5 rebounds. So, but again, another really good candidate to alt down. I mean, you could probably do Jalen Smith 5 rebounds, Jalen Smith, Miles Turner, Drew Holiday, and Jalen Brown all to get 5 rebounds. You probably get close to plus 200, and I think
Yeah.
they're all going to hit. So
Yeah, and a 247-point total, fast-paced game. It's gonna be a lot of missed shots to grab.
absolutely. So it's interesting. We didn't have a lot of scoring props for this game. I do know Halliburton was popping for assists in the model, but we kind of felt like the 11.5 was a little too high for him.
Yeah,
So didn't really find a lot of scoring plays. I think it's probably wise to lay off of those, especially on the Boston side with Tatum out.
Tatum being out.
But
Yeah.
certainly the PRA for Brown was probably the one scoring type prop that we had there. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Let's move on to let's cover the Houston and Miami game. Miami's minus 4.5 at home, totals 219.5, so low scoring one. We found a few pretty good opportunities in this one. What do you like first, Tom?
I guess I'd say our favorite probably was Bam. You want to look at Bam?
Yeah, Bam rebounds, right?
Yeah, over 10.5 rebounds. He's done this in 3 games this season without Jimmy on 2 days rest. He's done it in 4 of 4 games this season on 2 days rest in general. His last 8 of 9 on 2 days rest going back to last season. So Bam likes the extra rest. Obviously, more rebounds to go around with Jimmy not playing again. So this seems like a look at those. Look at that output there, 15, 17, and then just is it up to 11.5 everywhere now?
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen when we were looking at it earlier. It
Yeah.
because it was like teetering, and it looks like every book at this point has it at 11.5. You're getting plus money on most of them, so you could alt it down though. You could probably still get it
Pay
minus
a little
130
juice.
for 10.
With Bam, what about you? Would you pay the juice on Bam? I feel like for me, I would. I don't know. Bam is not the best rebounder to target.
I definitely would, but I think this. We were looking at the comps. Rudy Gobert just had 12 rebounds. Claxton, I think, is a really good comp for Bam, right?
Yep.
And he had 13 rebounds.
In the same game that Sharp also had 12.
Yeah, and Sharp, who's an excellent rebounder, had 12. And Jalen Duren, who's a better rebounder than Bam, had 14 rebounds. So a lot of good comps, I think, of late. Definitely, I think he's definitely good for 10 rebounds. Probably gets the 11th. I would probably be cautious about the 12th. So I think, but I mean, look at those last 3 games, 17, 15, and 11. Those are pretty good. Pretty good stats for without Jimmy and 2 days rest.
Yeah.
All right. I love that play. On the Houston side, we liked Fred VanVleet was popping in the model, right? What did we have for
assists?
FVV?
Yeah, his assists were popping, but it's a little bit high, though. It's even come down. I mean, he was up as high, went to play him last week, and he was at like 9.5, down to 7.5 now. But still seems a tad too high. We like it much better at 7. So maybe a leg of something, or Fred VanVleet 7 and Bam 10.
Yeah, let's look at his splits at home. He's 58% overall on the season, and he's 57% at home, 12 for 21. But if we knock this down to 7, that moves from 58% up to 67%, and 5 straight home games as well. So yeah, I like an FVV 7.
They're on the road today. They're on the road today.
Oh, they are. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, they're in Miami.
Yeah.
Let's look at those stats away. Yeah, he definitely had this stretch where like you said, his assist line was getting up closer to 10.
Yes.
And that was a no-brainer there. But in the last 5 away games, he's only 2 for 5. So yeah, I think I would certainly alt this one down if I'm going to play it. 7 seems good. It looks like it did actually come down to 7. Oh no, not yet. But anyway, yeah, 6 or 7 assists and put that with Bam, 10 rebounds. I think that could be nice.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else in
Yeah.
this game?
No, just I mean, maybe I'll just give out a couple of the matchups that were popping out in our model here. I guess correlated to FVV assists would be Jalen Green's scoring, his points, and to a slightly lesser degree his rebounds were popping out in the model here, but nothing we felt confident enough to get behind. But just wanted to call it out. Tyler Hero rebounds as well. Jabari Smith Jr. rebounds, and Şengün rebounds and assists were a couple other plays from this game that were popping out. Oh, yeah, and then there's one late ad I had here. Kyle Lowry points. So his line's 7.5 plus 100 on FanDuel. Got to remember Jimmy's out. So we throw on a games without Jimmy filter for Lowry. It looks pretty good. Let's take a look at that. And now
at home too, right?
Home. And then you can also take the home off and look at 2 days rest without Jimmy. Because, the old man, we're old men ourselves. We need some extra rest. Look at that. 17, 21, and 12. So yeah, he's been crushing with the extra rest without Jimmy. We got three data points there. I think if we go back, if you look at last season as well, I think yeah, you had a couple others in there. So, the usage is tough with Lowry. It's not the strongest of plays, but just something else that we wanted to call out here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what his recent minutes are. That's a challenge, right? You got games here where I don't even know who else was out. Maybe Hero was out still. He was getting 30 plus minutes without Jimmy. Then there's games where he plays 17 minutes. Looks like in the last 3 games, which were all this year, 24, 25, and 23. So that's what I would expect. So as you dig into this one, do your analysis with an assumption that he's going to play about 23 to 25 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
But 3 out of those 4 games, 2 out of the 3 games in the new year, he's cleared. So not a bad one. If he does it, he'll do it probably on 3-pointers and foul shots. So
yeah,
that's kind of his game at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. OKC and the Wizards. Wizards are getting 11.5 at home. Total's 247.5. My initial inclination was let's pass on this game because it's very hard to find the right picks against the Wizards. Everything pops out on the board for the opposing team. And then you're in this situation where you don't know if the stars on the opposing team are actually going to get enough minutes to actually clear their lines.
Yeah.
So excellent matchups, but tough to project. Wizards are playing a little bit off right now on their current road trip. They had that great game against Boston at home, and then since then I think they've lost 2 consecutive games, one to Atlanta and then another one up in Brooklyn. So they come down to DC probably with a little bit of anger. I could see them definitely beating up on the Wizards today, but if they play like they've been playing, they may not blow them out. So with all that said, I don't know how the game will actually turn out, but 247 points is a lot. What do you like in this one on the Wizard side?
On the Wizard side, all right, let's take a look at who do we have on the Wizard side here?
I think we had Daniel Gafford, right? Was the one that we thought about looking
rebounds.
Yeah, so Gafford rebounds. What was that? Gafford rebounds. His line is 7.5 minus 122. He's cleared that in only. Let's look at his last 10. He's cleared that in only 5 of his last 10. But if we put on a home filter, he's cleared that in 5 of his last 6 at home. So I think that's pretty encouraging. And then, just from a matchup standpoint, if you look at centers versus OKC, Claxton had 13 rebounds. Capella had 14. Porzingis had 10, who's not really known for rebounding. His line was 7.5. And Claxton, again, had 16 on a line of 9.5. So I think there's a lot of good comps of late. 8 rebounds seems a little low for Gafford. I think he'll get there, especially coming off a couple big rebounding games of late. So
yeah,
that's our play on the Wizards side. Most of our other plays were on Oklahoma City. Why don't you start on that side? What do you like the best?
What do I like the best here? So I mean, obviously, like you mentioned, SGA was popping big time in the model. His points were the primary one, but also rebounds and assists to a slightly lesser degree. So on paper, it's a great play tonight. That point line starts to get a little bit high there at 33.5, but you see he's cleared it in 4 of his last 5. Sorry.
Yeah, let's look at away games. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had the same success getting to. I mean, he's a 30-point machine, right? So I think playing him at 30 points is a pretty safe bet tonight. And we'll come back to this because when we get to the next game, we have a potential good one to parlay this with. But what I will say is, looking at the importance of minutes. So let's look at SGA PRA, right?
Okay.
And let's look at him for the whole season, right? So he's only cleared this PRA in 33% of games this season. But if we go to the minutes and we take his minutes down to like 35 minutes, which is still a lot of playing time, he's only cleared this line of 47.5 PRA in 1 of 13 games this season. So this is the Washington risk here, is if they end up blowing him out and SGA doesn't play the normal, 8-9 minutes that he plays in the fourth quarter, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a 43, 44 PRA for SGA tonight and fall short. So that's why I would highly recommend playing an alted down points line on him tonight, or an alted down PRA line. Or if you really feel there's going to be a blowout, fade him, right? It's scary to fade SGA.
That's scary
because he could put up 40 points alone, but if you think he's going to play 35 minutes or less tonight, then that's actually the right play. So I think we're going to play the over on an alted 30-point line. But just want to present the other side of this story, which is this line could be a little too high if he doesn't play 37, 38 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Who else do we have on OKC? Yeah.
All right. So Giddey was popping out as well. Also points, rebounds, and assists. We're all popping out here. We kind of liked his. So we put together a little 2-leg SGP on him that was looking pretty nice. 10 points and 4 assists is a pretty nice combo for Giddey. You got the points up there. Yeah, so you see he gets the 10. Yeah, he gets the 10 very often.
Yep, he gets the 10 points in 70% of games. So that's 23 out of 33 games this season. So that's a really good mark, especially against a team where he's in a pretty good matchup.
Yes.
And then the rebounds, what'd you have for rebounds?
Assists. 4 assists.
4 assists. Yeah, so if we take his assist down to 4, again, he's got this gap in the middle of the season where he wasn't doing a whole lot, but if we just look at the last 15 games, he's basically getting 4 assists almost every game but 2. So I mean, it's not going to be, probably won't be very comfortable. He'll probably get 4 assists tonight, but I do think that's probably a better play than playing a straight up PA or PRA or whatever other direction you were going to go.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's not going to be a first half cash, is what you're saying.
No, probably not. So 10 points, 4 assists, and what did you get that at? Minus
110 on FanDuel.
Minus 110 on FanDuel. I think that's a good play.
Yeah.
All right. How about Chet? You like anything for Chet today?
Yeah, his points and assists. Speaking of points and assists, his was also popping out here. For him, we liked them together to play the PA line. It's minus 125 on DK at 20.5. It's 21.5 on most books, which, as you can see, is not as strong of a play. He especially recently gets to 21 and would have also just gotten hooked in his most recent game against Brooklyn there. But he's done this in 5 of his last 7 overall. On 2 days rest, he's cleared in 4 of his last 6. There, so not getting there by a wide. I mean, not clearing it by a wide margin, but I think this is a spot for him. Centers against Washington's been a pretty prime matchup, and like you said, coming in a little bit angry. I think this is a nice spot for Chet here. Just feels right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jared Allen is a great comp. Obviously, Jared Allen's more of a traditional big man, not shooting a lot of threes, but he put up 24 PA. He did follow that up with 15, so you got to be careful there. Yeah, I think DeAndre Ayton putting up 25. Sabonis, Sabonis is probably more of a comp, in terms of the outside game. He put up 40. So yeah, I think this is a good play. I think Chet's in a really good spot here. So I would play that. I think also his straight up assist line at 2.5 is probably pretty good as well.
Yes.
Okay. And Jalen Williams. What do you got on Jalen Williams here? That was the last one we had for this game.
Yeah, played him a week or so ago. J-Dub liked his I think it was the game against Brooklyn. We were on his points and assists. I think it was at 20.5 that game, so it's ticked up to 21.5 here, but I still like it. That's what was popping out in our model, his points and assists together. And you could see he's cleared that in that's 6 of his last 8 games. Going over the guy who plays consistent minutes, not as many as SGA, but he's main part of the rotation there. And nice little upward trend there as well recently on the minutes. So yeah, loving J-Dub.
I mean, they were in a dogfight in these games, right? Like they fell behind big against Atlanta and they fell behind big against Brooklyn.
Yeah,
so I think
point.
that's why they were playing 35 minutes to try to win those games, and they fell short, I believe, in both of those. But regardless, I think this is a tough matchup for Washington to guard him.
Yeah,
super physical. I'm not sure who they have down low to help with him. So yeah, I think that's a good spot. His assist alone, just like Chet was also looking good. If you look at his last 4 games, 9-5, 6-5, that could be another angle you play, especially given that we think SGA will score 30 points. So that's somebody's going to be throwing him the ball. So I think those are both good plays in this game. Like I said, you play against Washington and everybody pops. So it's for the opposing team. So it's a really question of like, who do you think is going to go off? So we chose 4 players. All right. You ready to move on?
Yes. Let's move on.
All right, we got Jazz at the Bucks. Bucks are minus 8.5 in this game, and totals 242.5. The big news in this one is Dame is out. Damian Lillard is going to be out, so obviously that has implications for Giannis and for Middleton and many others. But our main play in this game was actually on the Utah side, and might be our favorite play of the day. So who do you like on Utah here?
All right, guy we haven't played at all. I don't even think he was playing much last season. Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn rebounds, right?
Yep.
So his line's 2.5. Dave's salivating over a nice low line like this. It is minus 162 on FanDuel, so might be a little juicy, but could be a piece of a builder maybe to put together, and not at a builder at not minus 300 or minus 400, but at minus 160, which is very nice. He's cleared this in 8 of his last 9 when he's played 19 plus minutes, I believe. Is that what I had here? Yeah.
Yeah. And this is 23 plus minutes. He's cleared this goes all the way back to last year. Let's filter just to this year. But 6 of 7 this year and 18 of 24 over the last season and a half. So this seems like a no-brainer. And if you look, every single game that he has cleared 3 rebounds, he's had 4 rebounds. So I think playing it up at 4 rebounds and getting a nice plus money play is a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, that was plus 140 on FanDuel, I believe. You have just a tremendous matchup for point guards, guards in general. Point guards against Milwaukee, 28th in rebounds per minute, 28th most rebounds per minute. Combo guards, 30th, dead last in rebounds per minute. That probably will change a bit. That's with Dame in the lineup. I believe Dame is out today.
Yes.
So defensively, they might tick up a bit because Dame is really not a good defender. I could see them grabbing a few more rebounds than usual at the guard position on the Milwaukee side, but I still think this is a really, really good play. We both love this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to list off a few guys. Trey Jones had 5 rebounds. McConnell had 6. McConnell also had 4 in the previous game. Halliburton had 9. Halliburton's not a rebounding guy. 3.5 rebounds was his line. He had 9. Dennis Smith Jr., similar type of athletic guy as Dunn. 7 rebounds, and he's coming off the bench probably with those 7 rebounds is my assumption. And then Jalen Brunson at 4 on a line of 3.5. So all these guys with a roughly 3 to 4 rebound total have cleared by good margin. So even with Dame out and maybe some younger guys stepping in for the Bucks, I still think this is a really good play. Probably our favorite play of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Right. The only other one we had was Giannis. You wanna go into Giannis?
Yeah. I think so. Without Lillard, I think Giannis is a home run. Let's just look the 2 games without Lillard this year. One of which was the game against not Jake Crowder. Jake Crowder, I don't think has played yet. Without Lillard this year, that's these 2 games. He put up 54 points and 35 points this season in those 2 games. Again, I'm a little concerned about playing Giannis at 36 points. So this was our play, putting Giannis at 30 points and SGA. Going back to the prior game at 30 points. I think both of those guys are pretty solid play at 30 points today. And I think you can get that for like -110, -115. So that would be our recommendation. I think Giannis is in a great spot, but I just 36 points it's a big number, especially in a game with a 9-point spread. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's move to the final game. We got the Suns and the Clippers. This is the night game. I think this was like a 10:30 Eastern time game. Clippers are -6.5. Total is 230.5. One play in this game. Both of us really like this play. A guy we've played quite a bit this season. Who are we liking here?
So another big man assist one here. Nurk over 2.5 assists, -140 on DK. He's been tremendous on the road this season, clearing this line in 11 of 13 road games. One of the misses you'll see in a second was just the most recent game against Houston. He only played 14 minutes in that game. So if you look at, you just switch over to assists.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yep, there we go.
So yeah, I mean, he's almost done this in 11 of 12 games this season. If you knock out that last one, also been great on back-to-backs. He's cleared 2.5 assists in 7 of his last 9 games on a back-to-back.
Wow, look at that one game that he played on a back-to-back away this season.
7
was Detroit, and he had 7 assists.
Yeah.
So just looking at straight back-to-back, 3 in a row, 4 out of the last 5. That seems really good. The hard part is like looking at any sort of comps for the Suns because their lineup is like, in flux all the time. But
yeah,
on props like cash, you can come down and you could say, with the big 3, right? So with Durant, with Beal, and with Booker, those are all the games. And let's take out the 0 days rest. So he's cleared in 3 out of 5 when he's playing with the 3 of them, which is kind of crazy that the 4 of them have only played 5 games together this whole season. But the last 2 games, which were recent, on 12/31, he had 3 assists against Orlando, and yesterday with all 3 of them, he had 5 assists against Memphis. So I think those are really good plays. It feels like these 2 teams are heading in different directions. So there is a possibility of a blowout, but I don't know. It's hard to see the Suns getting blown out when they have so much star power, but that team just isn't gelling right now.
Yeah. I think can we dip into another play or two here that more of leans or just something interesting to note?
Sure.
James Harden. So his assists were popping in the model, and he did just have 11 assists against Phoenix on January 3rd, so 5 days ago. But interesting to note is if you look at Harden on back-to-backs, it has not been good. Under in 4 straight, all 4 games this season, and
Wow.
2 of them fairly recently. So, you kind of throw out those first couple weeks with the Clippers. They're playing terribly. They were getting things in order. So that's those first 2 sevens there. But then 7 and 6 more recently. And then even dating back. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. And then so
what about his RA? Same thing. RA on back-to-back. I guess he had a lot of rebounds against OKC.
he had 9 rebounds against OKC. Yeah.
But other than that, same sort of deal. But it's weird because his assists were popping in the model, and it does seem like he's in a really good position for a big assist game. But I would avoid that just because of this whole rest thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Any other plays in this game?
A couple of Bradley Beal points was popping out. Paul George points and assists. Zubac rebounds. Grayson Allen PRA was also popping out. So that's what the model was showing. But the only the real strong one that we loved was the Harden. The Nurkic 2.5 assists. Want to take a look at your boy Grayson Allen here?
Yeah, I told Tom that Grayson Allen might be the best player on the Suns earlier, and he laughed at me. Yeah, I mean he's been really good lately, but again, I don't know. Durant was questionable for the game, so I think it showed him projected to play, so he'll probably play. But I would definitely keep a close eye on that. But yeah, Grayson Allen, at least in the last 10 games, he's cleared. He's had a couple of these like career games: 40 against Dallas, 39 against Miami. So he seems to be one of the more consistent players on the Suns right now. So if he's in a good spot, he might be good to ride. He's definitely been getting a lot of that activity through 3-pointers. You can see he's had two plus 3-pointers in 9 out of the last 10 games. So certainly has a leg of a parlay. Giving him 2 threes might be a good leg to add to.
Yeah, that might be the way, because I'm looking at him on a back-to-back, which they are, and he's been he's under the PRAs. He hasn't been great in back-to-backs this season with Phoenix. So
yeah, all right. So we'll lay off of that, and we'll focus mostly on Nurk today. I think that's probably the best play in this game.
Yeah. All right. I think that does it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Nice small slate, but we got some bigger slates coming this week, so we'll certainly have more props out there, and we'll get a few up on X as well, right?
Yep, we will. Not a lot of comments today. I'm just seeing one that I don't know when this was from. Just asking Kyle Kuzma ? Is a guy we spoke about briefly. I think his assists were the only prop of his that were popping out in the model there. So a guy we were laying off.
Yeah,
tonight.
and honestly, rebounds against OKC is a really good spot. So we were looking at and he technically, Kuzma plays big minutes as the center, according to Cleaning the Glass. So that also is a potentially good spot, but his consistency on rebounding is all over the place. So that's why we kind of prefer Gafford, who seems to be a more consistent rebounder than Kuzma.
Yes. All right. I think that does it. I think we have something nice in the works that you'll see up on X shortly, something a little bit different from our normal posts. So we're excited about that one. So stay tuned. It'll be up on X shortly. Nice work today, Dave. Thanks everyone for joining, and let's all make some money tonight.